Hey all, Siege here. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I wonder. Heard something odd a second ago. Oh, no. I've been trying to hang out in the orbiter just a little bit more, just to see if the man will show up. Because he's got all kinds of neat little poses on the orbiter where, unfortunately, so far he only really has one pose on in 1999. You know. So what is going on, everybody? It's good to see you all. Wow, what a dev stream, huh? What a dev stream. My voice is low. Well, we can do something about that if you'd like. I'm sure we can figure that out. Thank you for the fashion. Is it still super low? Let me know. Huh. I you know, I wanted to. Yeah, we're gonna do some rounds. Wow, it's funny because when I had set the stream up like today, I was thinking more on the lines of this just being something we could kind of do some things and speculate a little bit, but I never really anticipated getting what we got. You know, that's crazy. Um, so for all that, wow, you mind? All right. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the dev stream. Yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about the dev stream because there's just so much to talk about. Um, I mean, I know what is the most exciting part of it for me personally, right? Oh, okay. So you didn't watch the dev stream. You know what? This is probably a good idea. So for those that didn't watch the dev stream, let's just go over kind of the meat, if you will, and then we can kind of delve into the more granular details of it after the fact, right? Probably the most to me the biggest thing that I got out of it, and the thing that made me most excited, was the idea of the Entrati Side Stories. To me, that is just so exciting that I can barely handle it. And we're going to try to, let's see if this will work here like this, because it's a lot easier if I'm in my editing program to move around instead of using the YouTube stuff. But if we have to go back to this, we will. I guess first things first, let's see if the audio comes through.
Uriel, heretic of Zata, in banishment.
Funny feeling.
Uriel, heretic of Zata, in banishment. Answer. Can the Orokin ever be forgiven?
What's it? We can go through a couple of there was a couple different things that were shown of interest in, and DE was actually quite nice in cutting up some of this stuff already, just to be able to get to stuff really quickly.
He spoke in truths. A devil has
Like
come.
I said, the main one. 'Cause, 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 Okay, so I guess for those who I don't know if has everybody seen the Heretic of Zata? Um, the trailer for it that we essentially got at TennoCon. I do think that most people have already kind of seen this, essentially where they show the newest proto frames, Wisp and Harrow. Um, and then they also show Uriel. Well, they've added to that a bit. So this is essentially they kind of played it off as I love this stuff when they do this too. They kind of played it off as like 80s backmasking. If you can see, it's like they reversed the initial. You'll see here. I'm going to put it on real quick and then tell me what you think after. All right.
What need has a devil for forgiveness? When hell is a lie spun by madmen.
Okay, so so first things first, we got to talk about that first. So, could everybody heard that? Heard it really well and everything else? Like I didn't screw it up as I typically do. Like, yeah, there's some void tongue in there. In fact, some people I saw in the chat when I was watching on YouTube were speculating on what some of the words were. I don't want to say anything yet because I didn't get a chance to really like dig into it and figure out what's going on, right? But for those that have already said it, yeah, we have an OROKIN protoframe. And this is where we're really going to have to start to try to figure out what is actually going on with essentially, is there a place in Warframe yet, right? That that people can that still exist that we don't know about because either these frames are being created and we're getting them as they're coming out either by like the idea of 1999 them being created there and then them being able to be implemented here because of that, or that these proto frames actually have existed all this time and we just didn't know about them. It's hard to believe that a Harrow proto frame or a Harrow frame and a Wisp frame would exist and their proto frames would still be there, but it's not impossible, given what that we've done recently. So, someone keeps talking to me about this audio on my microphone, and I got to tell you, I have never really done anything to change it. Let's just see if there's some crazy thing going on here with it. So, what you're saying is it doesn't sound awesome. Mm. Yoshi, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scholars. Yeah, it's not intentional. I don't know what's really going on with that, to be honest with you guys. I apologize. Tell you what, I will. I'll definitely work on it after the fact. I don't want to get too deep into teching out the stream today, just in case I do something bad and screw everything up, and then make the audio like completely unlistenable. But I will work on that because a couple people had mentioned in the last stream too that something's going on here. So I will address that. I apologize, and I will take care to have it fixed by the next time, or at least change it in some meaningful way to hopefully make it better. Oh, you think I sound good? Well, thanks. Yeah, Austin, that's a good idea. I would tell you that Chains of Harrow is probably going to be a really good quest to start looking into. I've actually played it a few times myself. I just got done playing the new war again. Sacrifice, apostasy, all for stuff. Oh, Jim Boy Joe, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Raise, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all being here, and for those of you that have joined the Scholars, well, I give you my utmost thank you, and I do owe you a member stream. I will take care of that this weekend. I promise. Now that I actually have my streaming capabilities up and running, I also I've had a video that I wanted to put out this evening. However, I have to admit, I would like to add something to it. I mean, after all, we've just had the introduction of an OROKIN protoframe, and that does change some of the things I was presenting within this Ballas video, which I think you all are going to really enjoy. I put a ton of time into this one. It's a really cool script. I think so, at least. Anyway, so I don't know. I could release it this evening, but I just feel like if I release it tonight, it's like I'm going to have to do an update to it. Because I'm already thinking about some things that I would like to add. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It'll either be done. It'll either be released tonight or it'll be released tomorrow. So it's one way or the other. But man, I'm just saying that an OROKIN protoframe it changes a lot of things about a lot of things. Do you know what I'm saying to y'all? So you know what? For those who didn't see it, we could actually do that one too. Could go back and see. Oh yeah, this was like just real quick. So yeah, everybody was kind of talking in the chat, and I have to admit, has anybody in the chat seen Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny? So, Rays, was that what they were talking about with oh, you might have recognized that person's voice? Because I'll be honest with you, like I'm going to show you something. No, it's not Ballas. It's a different Warframe. Hold on. So, just going to show you something here real fast. Now, don't quote me on this because I I'm just saying that now take a look at this, right? So you're looking at that, right? You're seeing it, you know? It's right there, and you got it. Now, I want you to look at this. Mm, like they have the same hair. Let's see, we'll do this. Um, I'll delete that later. So you get this, right? Sorry. I'm moving my head around a lot trying to put stuff into frame. That's my fault. That's so you got that, and then you got that, and that, and that. I'm not saying they're the same person, but what I am saying is they look very similar. And do you say there's no image? Oh, you can't see that? Oh, I see what it did. I see why. I'm in studio mode. That's why. When I tried to screw with the microphone, I went into a different setting. I apologize. Boop. How about now? Totally. Hello. Okay. Okay. Now you can see that. That's good, right? So here's what I was trying to do before. So you got this, and then you got this. Now I'm going to tell you, they definitely have the exact same hair. I'm not saying they're the same person, but it's almost like this Orokin lineage type thing selected for a very, very specific look on certain people. So that's essentially what I think, or if nothing else, I don't know. I think they definitely look different too. I just, there's certain mannerisms in the way that this Uriel Roth is just with his face. They just look so similar. I don't know if it's going to become like a family member or I'm just wondering if there's going to be some kind of connection between the two. Because, man, I'll tell you, there's just like, I don't know what we're saying here. I don't know what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is that when I looked at him, I just, I was like, wow, man, it just seems like his face, I could just I could place it somewhere, but I don't know. I don't necessarily 100% know that what I'm alluding to right here is accurate. I'm just trying to show that already I can see similarities between these two, and I wonder if we're not going to figure out at some point that there is some kind of correlation. They sound alike. They do sound a little bit alike. I don't know. I just feel like I've seen that face before. Has anybody else seen that? Like it just feels like just Rhodes' face just looks so familiar, and I don't. I want to place it, but it's like I can't do it. Can't do it. I don't know. I don't know. This is this kind of stuff that we're gonna be puzzling over for the next couple months. That's a guarantee. Uh, that's I was kind of thinking a similar thing that in ways it's almost like it's almost like there is some kind of like I don't know. You know me. Maybe I'm just putting connections where they shouldn't be. Yeah, Austin. I'm always interested in some. I'm always interested in just a little bit of Wally's secrets. Nihil. Now that's an interesting thought. May have to go and check that out. Hmm. No, let's do this. About like 50 different things. I'll put them in the Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's get some gameplay in here. Who wants to join me for a run of something? That way I can, instead of me goofing through 15 different screens here, I can just focus on talking with you guys for a little bit based upon what we already saw. Anybody want to join in? Have a few runs? I'll be obviously using Zaku because that way I don't have to do anything. I love that. Austin, what Wally secrets are you looking to show me? Oh, look at that. All right, so Austin, I gotta ask, do you think we should show this? Because like this is some major, like even if it doesn't end up being something that they ever use, this is pretty extreme. I'm sorry, I know I'm probably I gotta move the microphone with me here because I'm wow. Okay, so yeah, screw it. So we're fortunate enough here in the stream to have one of our regulars, Austin here. provide us with a bunch of interesting things you don't normally see. And in this case, I think you guys, you're all going to really, I think you're going to really appreciate this. This is crazy. Okay, can you see that, guys? Can you see this? So Austin found these in the heart of Deimos, in the heart chamber. That's a finger. It's tough to see what that is. I can't make out the second picture. But this one's pretty easy to make out. That is similar to what is done during the rising tide at the very end of that one, like the little stinger at the end once you go into the OROKIN, the derelict. uh, or wonder if it's something that they still have yet to potentially use. I mean, that's obviously the operator. I mean, it's absolutely the man. You know, our void twin without question. Here, and then if you're uncertain, it's like, well, that you don't typically get this view from anybody else in the game. So, um, and then probably most horrifying of all is this is Wally's teeth. And I will tell you something. These teeth, curiously enough, we've seen this before. These teeth look almost identical to the ones that you can find on the Zeraman that are drawn everywhere. Austin, thank you so much for sharing this. This is amazing. Oh, and just for reference, this is, I guess, where it's from. So if you if you couldn't remember the context of the void door, essentially, you know, um, when Grandma lets in the necromech there. Yeah, that's craziness. That's some really good stuff. Also, um, Awesome was able to uncover something else that I never got. Remember, I was saying in the streams and whatnot, I said, even after playing Owl Weaver over and over and over and over again, there were still lines that I wasn't getting. Well, this one here is a huge line. Did anybody else get this? Because I did not get this. Yeah, unfortunately, Yoshi. They apparently Ortis's original voice wanted wanted to finally, after centuries of telling terrible jokes, finally wanted to retire. Did anybody else get this line? I never got this. Diego, I'm not really 100% sure yet on why Grandma did that. I have my theories, but it's never been proven in game as to the reason exactly. I mean, you could think of it in a couple different ways. One of the reasons was to give the family a reason to come together again. But then there's also all the more nefarious reasons, intended or unintended. It's tough to say. Yeah, we could go there real quick if you want. Let me get all my stuff together. Well, I mean, we think that's what it was. Like I said, provided there was no nefariousness going on, outside of that. These are the things that we believe. It's what's funny? I'm gonna talk to y'all about something. I was thinking about that. Yeah, if anybody wants to come in, now's the time. Now is the time because we're gonna make a quick stop at the void door. We're gonna go to the untimed door. We're gonna hang out there for a second, and then we're gonna play some mish time because I haven't played with you guys in a while, so it's time. I do have to get back to my normal streaming schedule, at least in some way. English Aaron, hello. Hello to all of you. I know I didn't get to do my normal thing in the beginning there to say hello to each and every one of you. I do apologize, but I just got so excited about the Entrati Side Stories things that it just slipped my mind. I apologize. But I want to thank you for being here with me. So we're going to go in here first and then figure out if you're ready to come or not, and then when we get back from the untimed door, we're going. So, English Aaron, are you friends with me on in game? Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me. What? What was that? Hello. Did anybody else hear that? Or was it like this huge musical crescendo at the very beginning? Keep your eye out there. You're gonna definitely see periodically a void worm. But essentially, this is the area that I was just showing that Austin had gotten. Oh, there it is. There it is. So this is, if you ever hear, if you are unaware of it, this is when Entrati talks about the untimed door. I don't know what that was. Oh, you don't have game sound that much, man. It was like so loud. It like scared the shit out of me. It was like an audio, like a crescendo almost, and then there's no audio at all. So I don't know. How about the fact? How about the fact that we're getting Void Bro? We're getting our indifference Bro. Um, have for those who want to join here, we're going to do it in a second. But if you could, if you are not a friend of mine already, send me an invite, a game in, like a friend invite in game. That'll make it easier for me to actually just get through and do it. And for those that already are, just give me a second, and I'll invite you as soon as we're done doing our little thing here. Looking at Captain Entrati. It's quite the specimen there. But seriously, this is the place. This is the place where presumably it all went down. Yeah, yes, the wall of Loke or the door of Loke. This is the thing that Yuliri was talking about with where she had her proofs that her father was knocking on the untimed door. English Aaron, it's exactly the same thing. The DC spelled exactly like how my in-game name is, but let me just maybe I can show you. I probably just hit everybody in the ears super hard. I bet. So yeah, God, I hope this. You've also you made me excited to think that there's still use for this area yet. That this may not be done as far as having a place in the story. Because oh my God, would that be cool? Okay, let's go back. Let's go back and we'll play. We'll play a little bit. Let's have some fun. I bet you can. I'm sure. I bet you can hear that. That must be the. Must be the thing I'm hearing is. Well, mm-hmm. Give it a couple seconds there. See if anybody puts it in. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's find out. If I didn't get you in this time, next run I'll get you in. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Were you able to join? English Channel, I think there's an actual real good precedent for that being the case. I really do. Now, I don't know, verifiably that that's what DE has in mind. And you know what's funny? I saw something happen today in the stream that concerns me about some of the things that I've heard in the past. So during the stream today, they were talking about the idea of the sister brother relationship between Noko and um, Urelli. But as I understood that, um, not so dead, I will get you in on the next one, next run, and we're probably going to the Zeraman because I want to look at teeth now. Just saying. You know what we like to do here. Give it to me. Crap. All right, everybody. I guess we're going to Entrati's labs. I'd say that's, you know, symbolic as well. I don't really know what I want. Nah, whatever. Noko, yeah. So what I was going to say is I'm so used to. There's so many times in the comments I can't even tell you where people said, well, this is how it is in the lore because they said that on the Devstream, and it's like a lot of people could take what was said there today either way. Like you could make the case that they were saying that they actually do have at least some kind of legitimate connection, or you could make the case that it was, as Rebecca said, more in like what you would call vibes than actual, like, you know, a blood type thing, or even like a friendly type thing. They do have a vibe thing going on, right? So it makes me always curious and concerned that some of the things that even I've believed of, you know, people saying, because, you know, unfortunately, I haven't been able to make every single dev stream and catch every little thing that gets said. So, you know, I'm in a situation where sometimes I am at the mercy of other people, like in what exactly they're, you know, what they're telling me, and if it's legitimate or not. And it's, if I do ever like disregard anything that you say that doesn't come from within the lore, I just want to tell you, don't ever take it like personally or anything. It's just, I've been burned a couple times on it. So if I can't find it within the actual lore itself, like through going into actual quests and stuff like that, I wouldn't 100% say that I always consider it canon. Even when I've heard people say, you know, over and over, oh no, they said this is this is this. Well, when I see it in writing, I will then, you know, truly believe. But that being said, I am super excited about this new Warframe because, oh, that's pretty cool. I like the idea of having like little minions that can kind of run off. It really is. It's almost like a different take on Nidus in a lot of ways, you know? And I wonder if, like, the lore of how, you know, Noko's going to come into play is going to have any type of, you know, situation where there's like a similar type of way of, you know, how like in the kinematic where they're kinematic, they talk about how Nidus is a completely different Warframe all to himself. Like he's kind of his own thing. And I'm wondering if, because of their kind of, you know, shared relationship, in at least the idea of their the way they exist, and especially with them both kind of having similar little minion type situations, if there's going to be an actual connection in the methodology behind Noko that's similar to Nidus. The alternate orbiter. Austin, are you talking about like the drifter orbiter or the skin, or let's see. When we're getting the chair. Hey, thanks, Lotus. I appreciate you. Well, I mean, I guess the way I see it is when it comes to Warframe designs, they're probably going to try to start swinging for the fences in a lot of different situations, and there's probably going to be some failures too along the way. But just think about the sheer volume of like Warframes we have now, and like the different concepts that they're based upon. And I don't want to say that there's, they're running out of ideas, because they're certainly not, doing that. But at the same time, because there are so many significantly, I'd say, familiar or similar frames in the way it is right now, I'll bet you DE looks at it in a lot of cases where some of these more odd frames, it's like, well, why not? Why not do something different that might, resonate with 15% of the player base? Because even if the other 85% thinks it's the design is ridiculous or stupid or just impractical, whatever, that it's like it's just one frame. And there's, how many other more that they can, not to mention they usually, whenever a new frame will come out, they'll do some buffs and whatnot to other frames and try to make something else that maybe suck, big time. A little bit more. Ooh, let me go help you out there. Boop-a-doop. A little bit more viable. So, I don't know. I kind of for me personally, when it comes to DE and more frames, I kind of would let them just kind of whatever you want to do. If it sucks, hey, we'll figure it out later. Oh wait, let me get you and not your um wait, could you get off the? Just maybe move just a little bit. Did you get it? Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
When you are ready to return, the sanctum is waiting for you.
That was a unique place to die. I actually think I need that. Nice. I wouldn't mind DE try to maybe even add that type of willingness to go up maybe outside the boundaries of their normal thinking into new mission nodes as well, right? Or mission types. Like, I don't know, something crazy. And I think that's actually what maybe this whole update is about, because, like, let's be real, from what we saw, there's at least a very significant portion of this new update coming, the Ballas Undermine, where we're essentially going on a mushroom trip. I mean, that is the mission. We're gonna eat some mushrooms, and I was saying earlier in the stream, and I got sidetracked, but if you've ever seen Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny, where is everybody? you'll know at one point Jack was, kind of after he and Kyle had broken up a little bit. This was like right before the party, with the chicks. Well, as he was walking in the forest, he came across some mushrooms and he ate them. And while I was watching that dev stream, all I could really think about was that there was so much similarities between the two that I had questioned if DE hadn't potentially seen Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny as well, and potentially had used that as inspiration of some manners. I'm deadly serious. Well, they showed at least a portion of it. I don't know what that thing was that essentially we're a mushroom and we're walking around. Like, and all the mushrooms are supposed to have different effects and all this other stuff. And, I feel like there were portions of it where I felt like, am I doing Warframe or is this Fear and Loathing? Tim Thaler. PG, you know what? I did, but I got to be honest with you. At the moment, it is completely I just totally forgot. I remember actually putting up the website and checking it out. I think we were on stream looking at it, but no, I didn't. I didn't do any follow up. But if you want to add anything in that regard, I do apologize, but I'm sure as soon as you say it, I'm going to recollect at least a portion of it, I hope. I don't know. I got Zaku on. What am I looking at here? I get that it's not like the actual gameplay, but there's at least a portion of it where that's what we're going to be doing is walking through. I mean, don't you think it's important? It's going to be important in whatever we're going to be like doing coming up, given the fact that it was the part that they actually showed in the reveal. I mean, I feel like we're gonna be doing something in that little realm. No? How about on Discord? Just in case. Like I said, I don't wanna just in case we uncover something that DE that I want them to have as much an opportunity to surprise everybody as humanly possible in today's world, because it's just spoilers are everywhere. Well, like I said, the way I see it is there's going to be some that's got to tie into something of significance, and wasn't that even the part that Rebecca said that we're going to have to work for the lore? I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to be spending all my time eating mushrooms. You know what? I'll take those. All right, I'll check that out in a second. Boop, boop, boop. I mean, as that's how I understood it. Maybe I don't know. From what, like I said, from what it looked like to me, it seemed like we were gonna go and farm these items and these mushrooms all over the underbelly of the Vallis, right? And then we were gonna essentially go underneath with what's his name, and then we're gonna eat a bunch of mushrooms with them and take LSD trips, like for them, not actual, but that's what I got out of it. Apparently I was. Did I miss something? Yeah, that's what I mean. The dreamscape. I mean, like that's what I'm trying to say. That if that's where all the lore is, well, I mean, that's where the story is. If that's where the story is, then that's where I'm gonna be. See, because when I play Warframe, and everybody, to each their own and how you like to play it. But for me, I like a new gun. I like a new Warframe. I definitely want the new Warframe just for the collection's sake, but the new gun, I'm all right with. Like, if you give me a new gun, I'll take the new gun. But if you don't give me a new gun, I'm okay. I have enough.
The relic has been cracked open.
But what I can't live without in Warframe is all of the lore. That's something I have to have. Oh, yeah. Ballas probably did ask that, let us that. I mean, it was a weird sentence, Diego, but sometimes if you want to get deep into the lore, you got to be willing to do stuff. You got to be willing to go the full way, and that's what I'm willing to do for you all. I'm willing to in game do as many mushrooms for the sake of the story as I possibly have to. Do I have a spare coaxium drift? I might. Well, I mean, I think we all want a banger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we all want something that's gonna just pop as soon as it hits. Like I do too. I want whatever we're gonna do to be super fun. I just also realized that some of them I've had really great playing experiences with. Like I will say, all the stuff on the Zeraman I've really enjoyed. Entrati Labs, it was like one of my favorite places to be. It didn't, and updates that really didn't resonate with me gameplay wise very much. But like in the case of Owlweaver, I mean, oh my God, that was like a really boring update if you really think about it. But lore wise, it was amazing. And with that, I can tell you that I played that one mission, because that's all it is, way more times than I would ever do it normally if I wasn't so engaged in the story. Like, I wasn't running Owlweaver to get any rewards or any resources whatsoever. Nothing. Like, there was literally no reward I was interested in. It was just to see, can I get a different voice line this time? And if I get one, is there going to be more than one? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's just it's a really weird thing sometimes, because whereas if you'd asked me about the gameplay of Owlweaver, I would tell you that What? What do you mean? Like what gameplay really was there? But at the same time, I would also say that it's one of my favorite updates because I love the lore and because it offered so much in the lore. So for me, it's like a double-edged sword in certain ways because there are definitely situations where I absolutely love the gameplay, but the story, wasn't necessarily something I was like completely following the whole way. I mean, then you have like you have like the Wave Rider quest, and that's just all, or I should say, that's none of the above. There was not one portion of that quest that I enjoyed. But some people really enjoyed it. That's how it is. Well, again, but remember, it's what do you consider a reward? For me, the lore is a reward. For other people, that doesn't fly. But for me, I'll tell you, actually, in a lot of situations, the lore is worth way more than any of the new guns that I've gotten in certain, or, even in certain Warframes that like I farmed out and got for the thing and then haven't used. But the lore, I've gone back and played, the quest 10 and 15 and 20 times and 30 times. So it's all in what particular people deem as rewarding. And I think one of the things that I really enjoy about DE is that, they are willing to they kind of spread it around sometimes. Sometimes the actual rewards are just super sweet. Like, maybe it didn't resonate with everybody, but I know for me, like when the sacrifice quest first came out, right? Oh, where'd you go? Let me come get you. When the sacrifice quest first ended up coming out, I remember. Ooh, well, I was gonna get you, and then I realized this was your dog, and then let me just do this. And then I turned away, and then they killed me. So, that's how it goes. But what I was saying is that, like, reward-wise, I got a Warframe, I got a weapon, I got some extremely unique mods that at the time were a lot more valuable than they are like now, with the Umbral mods. But like, okay, so reward-wise, that quest was like through the roof, right? And it's a great quest as well. So that's one of those. That's just the home run, Sometimes you get them. But I don't know. Maybe I'm the homer. Maybe I just have a different way of looking at it. But I look at it like if a quest is rewarding one way or the other, I can be okay with it. If it's got just absolutely stellar lore, I'm all right with it being, not necessarily extremely thorough or overly detailed. If in the same breath, if the, it's just too fun or whatever. If it just has one aspect of the gameplay that I keep coming back for, okay. Because I don't know about the rest of you, but for myself personally, I've come to find that in our gaming space, one or the other is in many times as good as you can ask for. Sometimes you don't get either. Do you know what I'm saying? I told you that's something that I do. I've already read a good bit of it. It's pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. We'll see. You never know what the future holds. If I can free up some time, perhaps a more, a situation where I could be more available could arise. Well, I mean, like I said, I think that is going to be something that, at least in today's Warframe, has become, I believe, somewhat subjective, because Warframe, it's a weird game, okay? Because like, I don't feel the same pressure in Warframe to grind that I do in other games like Warframe. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But like I said, because of all the tools that we already have, and the fact that Warframe doesn't pull any bullshit like getting rid of our all of the stuff that we've accumulated and just make it completely unusable. Having played for as long as I have now, and I'm sure many of you who are in the same situation can agree that I don't know that like I said, when certain things come out, if say you are invested in some other game at the very moment, you can get away with just like, letting it go for a little bit and then coming to it as soon as you're ready, and it'll be there, and you'll be able to get the weapon that you want, and you'll be able to do all the things except, aside for if it's one of those special event type things like what is it, Belly of the Beast or whatever, But for the most part, that FOMO thing doesn't necessarily exist, and it just takes a lot of the, in my opinion, the burden of needing to have all this stuff as soon as possible off, which also, again, for me, allows for Warframe in this ultra competitive environment with games to not feel so like demanding of all the time that I have. Warframe's like, it feels like it's my old buddy. Like, hey man, don't you worry about a thing. You want to go over there and go to that bar for a little bit? Well, you go over there, right? I'm gonna be here waiting for you. And when I do, we're gonna have fun. And I'm like, yeah, yes, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. I don't know any other experiences out there like that. Can anybody else? Maybe not. Well, I mean, I still think it's subjective because, again, it's within each person. Now, if if the Steam charts drop more than when they typically drop, because they always seem to drop after a new release, I'm sure that's something that DE is looking pretty hard into. But I would say, like, Aim, what would you consider to be the last successful, update that you really felt, hit all the buttons for you? I guess I should stay with the group. Okay. So I mean, that's within the year. So I mean, are you including Encore in that, or is that just the Hex Quest and the first helping? Because I really like the stage defense myself. I know it's a similar thing that we've always done, but I just like the way that it kind of worked out. Plus, I thought the rewards were pretty. There's another thing in Warframe too that you have to take into consideration that uh, other shooters, at least, or games kind of like this, don't really have a ton of the whole um, habitats. So it's like that's one thing that they said with this new one here that I noticed that I kind of assumed a lot of people were going to either go crazy for or like really hate was that they're like it seems like in one aspect a big section of the rewards is centered around plants that you can put in your. Yeah, I mean, that's again. I would have to say, unfortunately, I would have to agree to disagree. I enjoyed myself in those things. Now, if you're just going off of, you know, if Steam charts are the only thing that matter, then I mean, I guess that's how you judge, and that's the way that your opinion runs. I always go off of kind of like my own personal experience. I've that's just me. See, I really enjoyed the stage defense, but I like music and everything else like that. So again, it was the mission was kind of a spectacle that I really appreciated. I appreciated all of the 1999 stuff because I just thought it was such for something that if I'm being completely honest, the second that I saw it at the reveal, I was like my initial thoughts were not like super excited because we had just come off Whispers in the Walls, and I thought we were going to get like a lot deeper into talking about the man in the wall from the perspective of what we had already known, not like this newer perspective of things and how origins of stuff and how Rusalka was intertwined. But I didn't know that at the time. So, I just looked at it like I was like, man, I don't know about any of this stuff. But wow, it turned out for me to be a really, really fun experience. After this run, why don't we call it a break there, and we'll get in some people who didn't get an opportunity to that might still want to get in for a run here. A couple relic passes as we discuss the greatest game ever to be created. Oh, I have you with this one? Nice. Yeah, maybe what did I say? Biomes. Yeah, you know. I'm old. Cut me slack. Yeah, I mean, again, I know it's similar thing to what we've always done. It's again, it was more in how it was done, how they made it different, that resonated with me. But apparently, I'm not agreed with by everybody, and that's okay. You can continue to hate stage defense. It's all right by me. I don't mind. You can continue to hate it as long as you allow me to continue to enjoy it. That's all. That's all I ask. Oh, I should get more reacting, huh? Before we I didn't even think about it. I'm just sitting there bullshitting and talking. You know how I get. just go off on a tangent. I've said to, I was talking to my girl today, and I said, I really do feel like I'm a very competent storyteller, right? That's where I think my strengths are. But personally, and I'm not trying to make you guys not come in the future, but I have never really viewed myself as a very good streamer. I lose focus a lot. I'll go off on a tangent and get crazy ideas and go nuts, with stuff. And, it happens. And the streamers that I've watched that I think are like the most accomplished seem to have the best ability to keep the stream engaging and talk with their chat, but also never lose focus of the game itself. To keep playing at like top level. And wouldn't necessarily call my gameplay top level. So the Devil's Triad is actually going to be associated with its. I don't know if it's going to be called the Devil's Triad or the Heretic of Zata, but they're essentially the same thing. In fact, as I understand it, Uriel is the Heretic of Zata or of Truth. Because I do think that that's what they were saying whenever. Ow. That when he said he spoke truths. Fill in the blanks. It's like playing Connect 4. Well, I mean, where's my flow state? What does that just go away when you reach a certain age, or how's that function? I remember the days. I remember the days.
Fought well. Good deaths all.
Damn, might have picked up that Grand Prime. That's a long time coming. Oh, I get super distracted. It's the worst. All right, I'm gonna leave this squad. I appreciate you all playing there. I hope you enjoyed. We're gonna open up the game to anybody else if you want to get in there for a nice run. Uh, oh, that was pretty weird, huh? There's a little Skittles too. Does anybody have in the chat have a spare coaxium drift they could help? I feel like I'm in church. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think we're just getting. It looks like we're getting what the Heretic of Zada, but we also get this. We get the Orb Valis Undermine, but we're getting that modding quest with Teshin too. Don't forget that thing. I don't know if. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Oh, why did you get the teeth on there? Teeth. The teeth were awesome, by the way. That was one of the coolest things you showed, Austin. I gotta be honest with you. We got space for one more. One more. Well, see, I thought, Matthew, as I understood it, it's going to be like a pre thing that is going to be considered, and this was like the most exciting part for me because Rebecca categorized it as what she called Entrati Side Stories, not story, stories. So that means the Devil's Triad or the Heretic of Zada, whatever they're going to call it, is only the first Entrati story. We're going to get more of them. I'm so excited. Okay, let me explain to you why, because maybe you don't know why. I mean, maybe you do think you know, but you don't. Ready? First, the obvious. You know, it's Entrati, it's the Man in the Wall, D-Siege, Man in the Wall. That's like the only thing that's, you know, those two things to go together, right? But Entrati's voice actor is quite possibly one of the best, like, at doing like that specific type of voice, that kind of like really creepy, that like really like just that creepy voice, and he's just got it in spades. Stefan Rudnicki, and I just any lore with him, yes, just give it. I don't even care. I mean, I'll take more proto frames, but yeah, let me say something to you all. I don't care. I don't care. Give me more Entrati lore. Give me more Entrati quests and more notes that we can find in places where it's just these long diatribes of him talking about stuff. Yes, I want just, and when she said Entrati Side Stories, I can't even tell you. Don't know. I was so excited. I was so excited. And there's that too. Andrade's got good drip. So there it is. Right. And that shrimp cup, there you go. More Entrati lore. That means now I don't know if this is a possibility or not, but I'm going to tell you something. This will just be between me and you in the stream. Ready? Depending on where we go and how much Entrati lore we get, I don't know if he'd be able to do it or not. But he follows me on Twitter, and I follow him on Twitter. And I was thinking about if I could get him to even voice any little bits of a script for a video to kind of, flesh out some of the things that are just in words, but you get to hear it in his voice. Would that not be the coolest thing ever? Yeah, that's true. You get way more lore with the proto frames than we ever get with the normal frame. Yep.
And once more into the breach, what?
Might as well do bounty, right? No.
Well, I mean, do not stay away over long. Our enemy does not come.
Where is that thing at in here again? I never ever use it. Where you can actually do a mission from. Oh yeah, it's like all the way over here. Yeah, love you too, baby. All right, well, I guess we're not going to do... Yeah, we can. Hold on. Just because I don't want you guys to have a... I don't want you all to... I'll re-invite everybody. I don't want you to not get your relics. We all love the relics. Everybody loves the relics.
Yeah, you, friend.
Crack away, Hey, Mel, have you used a friend on here? Really? That's crazy. Hey. Thanks for telling me. Austin, you talking about the alternate interior of the orbiter? Is that what you're referring to? Who am I missing here in our little group? Oh, okay. Who did I miss? Who was with me in the last group there? Recent. Yeah, wasn't it? I thought it was. Hello, Beth. Who am I missing? It was 3, wasn't it? Oh, it was just 3? Okay. Anybody want to join for that 4th? Well, see, you can see that's that lack of focus just coming right in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Right in. And I would do the void arc but it just seems like every single time that we do that thing, I get so focused on talking, and then we screw up the thing. And maybe if it a lower, we'll go a little. That's close enough. It's still relevant in the lore. It's still real. Yeah, Warframe goes very well with a bit of ADD and ADHD. Yeah, nothing like a side of those.
Look at that. More kibble for the Drox. Save some for me, puppies. Awoo!
Worm Queen. Even as the Neural Sentry corrupts her best troops, she continues to send more. What is she after? The Orokin Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support.
Austin, why aren't you still why aren't you still doing YouTube? That's pretty. I mean, you all have kind of seen my attention span, so I'm gonna refrain from admitting to anything over chat, but I'm sure enough of you have already kind of figured out. We all have scars. Some are deeper than others.
All manner of Orokin technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have a necromech, you may use it.
Oh, yeah. Well, add another one. Oh, Worm Queen's amazing. What are you doing? I mean, I know you're not supposed to say this sort of thing, but I got to be honest with you. I'm glad the other one died. Now, where is everybody? We are scattered all over the place. Who has some relic juice around them?
Major malfunction. Return fire! Look at this.
I'm looking. I'm looking for it. Oh, well, PG, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is good enough. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I should take care. Thank you. Oh, really, Austin? That sucks. That's it's a fear with really digging into YouTube is that you don't. There's not a lot of protections. You know, especially if you put everything into it, you could just wake up one day and it'll be just completely gone. Sometimes without any explanation. You know, I won't lie. It's one of the reasons why the vast majority of my content is, let's be real, pretty vanilla. I try not to swear. I mean, every once in a while, kind of add it in for some little flavor, only because I believe, and maybe I would teach her on this, but I believe that swear words
What's inside?
provide additional enunciation and additional emphasis, almost to like a shocking degree, and thus by using that shock factor, it's supposed to impress upon you like the level by which I'm going that far when I say it. Oh, it means something, you know. Now, did the swear words get overused in that context a lot? Yeah, probably. But you know, can anybody argue that the F word is the most versatile word in the entire English language? I mean, it's everything. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, I've seen a ton of that just recently. I mean, I follow, if you follow YouTube at all, on Twitter especially, you will see so many people tweeting stuff out like, "Oh my God, my whole channel just got removed. I didn't even do anything. I don't even, I tried to appeal it, but it was denied by a, computer, by a bot. I mean, it's horrifying, especially in the case where, if you do have a lot of stuff that you've, kind of put on YouTube and you don't have anywhere else to present it. It's like, it's gone. Gone. Uh-oh. The cooking has begun in the someone had to start it. Someone had to come up with amazing food for the chat so that we can all think about it in our heads. And in many cases want the same thing too, but know within our hearts that if we went to go try to make it, for some of us, it's probably just not going to be as good. So it's like it's going to remain delicious in our minds, but yet never in our mouths.
Hold out, the deeper I can search. But if you
That
need
makes
to
sense.
leave, extraction is ready.
Well, Matthew, that could be it. I think you can probably tell from, the way that I'm like, for lack of a better term, spastic almost. Like I can go from being completely calm and like not just on the down low and just ramp myself up to 11. And because of that, yeah, maybe
The void has summoned a new presence and it craves
maybe it feels more necessary than if you don't if you don't feel necessary to just go crazy when you're trying to get a point across like I do. You maybe don't need the swear words in your life, but I need them, and I love them. Oh, Entrati. That's, I was thinking about that as I was like putting together aspects of my Ballas script. I was thinking like, who is the worst Orokin? Is it Entrati? Is it Ballas? Is it Tuval? Like, from the things that we know, at least off the top of our head, at least the way I was looking at it, like certain names immediately come to mind. But over the past couple years, especially, the people that we had once deemed as kind of the ultra villains of Warframe have, in many ways, kind of dissipated with new people, kind of showing up in their place, and maybe even eclipsing what the old bad guy was even capable of. Crafty Cabbage, take care. Is there any way we can snap Entrati? What is that?
Well done, Tenno.
Um,
Relic is opened.
Is there any way to snap Entrati out of this? So here's what we have to consider, and this is, I think, important. Now, I don't know if Warframe thinks of it this way, but this is how I perceive. We look at Entrati. When you look at Entrati, you see a guy that looks what? 45, 50 maybe, or maybe even younger than that. I'm going more so off of like his hair color and stuff like that. That like he's younger there, at least than what he looks in his Zeraman, the older picture on the Zeraman. But if you look at him in his dripped out gear, the human mind perceives the way that he looks as being, that age, and because of that, doesn't fully grasp the amount of time that if he has these views now as an individual, how long he's actually had them. We're not talking about Albert Entrati believing the things that he believes for the last 10 years or the last 15 years or even the last 20 or 25, because like for most people around that time in their lives, they're going to start going through a lot of changes. Things that they once believed were right, they're going to start to question, and vice versa. But in the case of like Albert Entrati, when we see the views that he espouses today, I think it's important to understand that he's had these views for potentially centuries. So the concept of him changing isn't going to be necessarily as easy as it would with a typical 45 or 50-year-old person and trying to, show them a better way. A person who has lived as long as Entrati would might not even give someone like the Tenno the time of day in attempting to even talk to them, out of the idea that you have not seen what I have seen and you have not been around long enough to know what I know. And because of that, while you may think the things that you're saying resonate, they don't necessarily with me, because there are things that I've seen that you do not know. Even if that's not true, because of the age difference and just the ego that has already been depicted, this is a very likely way by which Entrati would handle himself in a situation where someone was actually attempting to teach him something new.
Don't worry, I'll take very good care of Varuna. I have just the spot.
Okay, fair. How about mid-60?
The queens have sought out warframes before. Vor sought to present them with
The only reason why I'd say he looks younger than 60 is because of his his physique. He has a younger man's physique. He may have an older face, but okay. Well, no, I don't think the Tenno do know the Void better than him, even if they are a product of the Void themselves, because it's very possible and almost probable that Entrati has been dealing with the Void longer than the Tenno.
consequences of that risk now. Destroy these void-stained enemies.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, remember, Entrati brought it all. What we see now is largely a product of the things that he did. Without Entrati and the Untimed Door, there wouldn't even be operators. There wouldn't be Zariman. There wouldn't be a Zariman, because they wouldn't have the capability to even travel. If not for the Void, because this is exactly what the Requiems say, that essentially extrasolar space travel was impossible until he came in with the ability to use the Void. So in that regard, like again, whether it's right or not, Albert Entrati would be able to at least believe or live under the idea that, hey, I am older than you, operator, because I remember a time when you weren't around.
That's it. You open the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
So that's, I guess, like I said, in my opinion, because I really enjoyed that question. I think that was a great question, and it's it's something that's very relevant within the Warframe story. Like, what exactly is Albrecht's true intentions? Is he attempting to do this, the whole greater good thing, and he really does have goodness in his heart, and he really is trying to do the best thing that he can perceive as, by what he understands? Is that really what's happening? Or is he using us like he uses everything else to get what he desires? Like, there really is no true way to know. And if you were asking me, like, say the operator came up to me because I was just the operator's boy, right? We like to hang out. We would, we'd go down to Fortuna gamble nights periodically together. And say on one of those bingo evenings where it was just me and the operator, they were like, "Hey, Siege, let me talk at you for a second, right?" I know, I can understand what Albert would. He gets intense too, just like me. But he would be like, "Yo, Siege, you've kind of seen what's going on here. You know what's happening around me right now." And I'd be like, "Yeah, actually, I do. I've been following a lot. You should check out my channel." I'd say that. And then he would be like, "What do you think about Albert Entrati?" And I would say, "Tenno, I think Entrati is probably one of the most brilliant minds, one of the most tortured minds, and one of the probably saddest individuals that Warframe has, as far as me feeling some level of feeling bad for him just because of the situation that's occurred." But all that being said, I wouldn't trust Albert Entrati as far as I could throw him. I would look at every little thing that he ever said with two under the guise of two different perspectives. One, that he might actually be helping me, but two, and more importantly, the chances are, if there is a benefit for me in the end, it's only going to be because he benefited too. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's Matthew. There you go. I think that you're saying kind of the same thing that I'm saying, that he doesn't have the humility to admit that he's wrong. And that could become a significant problem for everybody at some point down the road.
We have only scratched the surface. This place holds many more secrets.
Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Wow, twice in the same night, and I haven't seen this piece in years. How can that be? How can that be? How can it be? I am shocked. That it's like right there. Have you ever heard of synchronicity?
Life support is at risk. Destroy them.
How? Years I have not seen that thing. And then all at once, twice in the same night. RNGesus works in mysterious ways. That's exactly it. I mean, somebody who's been fully consumed by their idea is one of the most dangerous people to be around, even if you believe their idea to be right. Because when they become the cause, they will sacrifice all for the cause. And sometimes those that get sacrificed for the cause, it wasn't necessarily something that should have been done, which is always going to be a major problem. Yes, but understand, even if it was unvaulted last week, it's not the first time that it's been unvaulted, right? And then there was the original, whenever it was originally released. Then also take into consideration that even though the chances did obviously diminish, there would still be people that along the way had picked up the necessary relic for the Grand Prime blueprint, right? And would have essentially cracked it while I was in the thing, and still it not. Where did we go? I'm actually talking about the enemies this time, too. So I'm still going to say it's amazing. I've read my paper. Which paper there, Austin? Is it with, like, the opening story of your game? Because yes, I got a good chunk into the beginning portion of it. The one that you shared on Discord. Yeah. If that's the same one. No, maybe you're referring to something else. Put that, if you wouldn't mind, put that in the Discord too, because if something happens and the chat goes by and I lose it, at least it'll still be sitting in the Discord so I can answer the question later. If you would, that is. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But just in case I lose track of things, as I always do, or think of something else, go to a different topic, and not remember to come back to the previous topic like I always do. This way, at least in Discord, that'll be saved, whereas, going through the back stream, just trying to find extra time. Oh. So, what do you think Kaya is up to in the, well, I don't, I know that Kaya is, okay, so here's what it is with Kaya, and it's something to consider. Did you ever see Jurassic Park? Thank you, Austin. That'll make it a lot easier that I can actually come back to it here and address it. So, if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, you know the line where they say, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not you could that you didn't ever stop and think that you should. Remember that part? Well, I think there is reason to believe that Kaya should have potentially not worked so hard to prove that she could just do something for, in essence, really, if you really think about it, just to prove that she could. Because as it is right now, under her current understanding, as I remember from the kinematic, when talking to Kaya about moving proto-frames around in the reality where she didn't make it to Lorunda, she makes the comment, and I think it's important. Hey, Laura Kai, hello. She makes the comment that, wow, look at this stuff. Yeah, what was I, okay, how about now? How about now? How about now? Okay, cool. I'm going to check that out. I could have sworn didn't. That's no, that's not the thing that I read then already, Austin. That's it's this thing. Oh, I wanted to read that too. Is this video games art, the art thing?
They are draining your life
That's got me interested. Yes, that's got me very interested. I will be looking at that. Just because you did it. I'll take some extra Caliban Prime parts, you know? Yeah. Well, thanks actually, well, to Austin. Now we know what the hell? We know now how she got in too, through the crack in Mathilla's head. That's really, it's just a creepy sentence to say. If you think about it, it's a really messed up sentence to say. But I mean, you had to know. And like I said, look, man, we need. Here's what so, you know how I'm mostly like a homer for Warframe when it comes to I love everything. I love Warframe. I love it all. I love it. You know, that kind of thing. I'm gonna tell you that there is a way for me to complain about Warframe, and it's coming up. If we get a Hero Warframe, okay, Protoframe, I should say, and we get talking about the story in regards to that, we better see Rel. Where's Rel? Where's Rel? Somewhere I gotta see him. Bring him back somehow. Come on, you keep teasing every little thing around Rel. You got Mathila, you got Garmy, you got Hera now, and the Protoframe, Albert Entrati. This whole, you know, just for the love of God, show him. This is ridiculous. Give me some Rel already. Good night, Diego. Yeah, okay, that's the thing that I read. It's got a nice from the bit that I got to read a fairly good bit of it there at the beginning. It's very creative. It's very unique. Who knows? Maybe I'll even get to help you out on that a little bit. I sure hope I did get the opportunity because that'd be so cool. I remember when I was a kid. The idea of landing into an industry that you didn't invest your early existence in was next to like it wasn't even a thought that you would have. Like it's actually funny how much the world's changed since I was a kid in how people like just live, in the fact that like when I was younger, when you got a job, like when parents got jobs and stuff like that, like they would have them for 30 years or 35 years or whatever. And like that was just how it was. It was weird if you got a new job. Like it wasn't like something that everybody was doing. And if you know, there was usually like some kind of situation around it happening, you know, versus it just being, oh, I want to just check something out new, or, you know, I'm looking for a different challenge in my life. Like, it's such a different thing now. And because of that, like, I don't know, it's trying to see the world through like eyes of today, where that's you know, not anywhere close to the same type of thing that anybody's experiencing. Well, I think English Aaron, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it. I think we're all to blame. I agree with you that CEOs, they were definitely the big start of it because there is a huge disconnect and just increase in the amount of money that a typical CEO makes in regards to their lowest paid, their like base salary person. Again, when I was a kid, that percentage was not anywhere close to what it is now. And because of that, I think there wasn't as much traveling because it wasn't available in the same way. No, I didn't even get my stuff. It's okay. Um, it was just a different. It was just such a different existence. And now like they began it, but now we've almost gotten into a situation where everybody's just out for themselves, and that doesn't work either. Because there's like there's diminishing trust between people. There's diminishing trust between like employees, employer, which just leads to a more chaotic existence for everybody. Um, I, and before you ask, I have no clue what the solution is, and in fact, I would entertain the idea that it may be too far gone for a solution, at least a full solution. Maybe I don't know, but it seems like if everybody, and I mean, and I'm talking like everybody, like nobody can be um, exempt from it. Everybody needs to take a little bit less. Again, super unpopular, I know. Most people will hate me for saying that. Some people need to take a shit ton less, like a whole lot less, okay? Like ridiculous amounts less. But I do think in order for everything to heal, it's going to require a kind of a worldwide, global, we're all in this together type situation with everybody pulling in the same way to say, yeah, hey, we're just going to have to, everybody kind of come together and just, not try to, yeah, you know what? Okay, that's another thing though, too, I'll say. In my time, this is something different too. Tell me if this resonates with any of you. In my time, when I was a kid, people didn't get jobs to get wealthy. That was not your typical goal. Like, people were not looking for a better position later. They found a position and then they built their entire life around said position, establishing relationships with neighbors and things like that, where like real relationships, hanging out, going to periodically having people over for barbecues and dinner sometimes, and people I think found fulfillment in the communities that they had developed, the communities that had developed around them, and thus didn't need as many of the creature comforts and the consumeristic pleasures that seem to permeate a lot of people's desires today. And like one of the main reasons why people seem to want, a lot more. I'm not trying to take away from those who are trying to build wealth because they understand that wealth is so volatile as it is, that if you don't have any wealth, like just you might be on doing great and then you get laid off, and if you were living day to day, trying to live like how we did back in the 80s, you wouldn't have you wouldn't be able to do anything. And yeah, I get that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know I don't know what the solution even is. Like I'm certainly not anywhere close to smart enough to be able to devise something that would even considerably work. You know. Um, oh, who did I lose here in my little diatribe? PG. If I didn't, I hope you didn't leave quite yet. Good night. Thank you for joining. Who else? Did I miss anybody else? Yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just a shame, man. If I don't know, if I could bring you all back to that time to see it, I'd be curious to know what you thought. Because when you say to people, "Oh, hey, times were better or times were worse," that too is subjective, right? Like, and I would just say if it was, I would love for people of this time period to see it themselves and then decide what they thought. I mean, hey, there could be people that are like, this is as lame as it gets, man. So glad we evolved. But I don't necessarily know that that would be the case. I actually think some people would find it really endearing. I think it's pretty good jobs here. All right, all. Do you mind if we cut it here? As far as the run is concerned, feel like a nice half an hour each was pretty good run. What do you think?
Void manifestations drawn to this cursed place of story lives.
Yeah, and you're right. It really does. That's probably a really good way to look at it. It really depends on your circumstances. But I mean, whoa, holy crap! I didn't have much growing up. I didn't have much at all growing up. We weren't we like we weren't what I would call like on like poverty line, but there were times growing up that my family was on food stamps. So we did definitely go through some significant times. I can tell you that. Um, I never really knew any life even close to comfortable until what I would say like whenever I got out of college and even then that was whew. College is a lot cheaper that back then too though. That was another thing. Like I this is this might be hard for people to believe, but my she's really up for telling me about the devil. My last year of tuition at Penn State, right, was $7,500. Kofi, we actually did. We did. Unfortunately we're almost to the very end of the stream. I do apologize. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just a different time. It was just a different environment. It's I would be lying to say that I don't miss it. I would be lying to say that because, like I said, there was like just a camaraderie. There was an adherence, more of an adherence to the social contract, I would say, than what we see today. Like you know, um, I could walk miles as a child, as a 14-year-old kid, to go see my buddies. Especially because when I was younger, when I went into middle school, our middle school was comprised of 3 different areas that all kind of came together into one school that each had their own elementary schools beforehand. So a couple of the friends that I had met were on like the other side of the thing. Didn't matter, you know. I just got up on a Saturday morning or whatever, as soon as I could, put my little backpack on, and started walking. A couple miles later, I'd end up at their house, hang out for most of the day, sometimes spend the night, sometimes just come home. I don't think that these are things that you can really get away with nowadays. Yeah, there's another thing. Thank you all, by the way, thank you all for joining me on the Relic runs. I do appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed yourself and maybe got a couple things there that'll help you out along the way. See, there you go, Austin. 300,000 for college, like that. I don't. College it's just got so expensive so fast. And like one of the things I noticed too when I was going to college was like most of you don't even need half the classes that they were forcing me to take. Like, okay, do you want to know? Do you want to know what I had once? I had bowling one semester. I had bowling. I had tennis. Why do I need to pay for bowling and tennis to get my degree in biology? What? I mean, I think you can make the case in some instances with like, you know, advanced literature and stuff like that. Whereas, like, if I was in biology, it would behoove me to be able to enunciate my points better. And thus, by having a better command of the English language, I would be able to potentially better communicate the ideas that I was generating within the biological community or biology community, science community, whatever. And thus, I can see where even though, you know, English literature may not have a direct correlation with biology, it at least provides a service, if you will, for the time you spend learning it and doing it. But I'm sorry, like bowling? Yeah, you can, Brace. You can, as a matter of fact. You absolutely. I owes you. So yeah, yes, you can. You can trade. You can have it. It's all yours. We don't typically get 2 of them things, but it would seem. Oh, look at that. I still need to get. I must have sold the other parts that I had because it was like next to impossible for me to get this stupid blueprint. I'll have to start drawing to that, I guess. Replay the Chains of Hera. It's worth it. Amazing quest. So much fun. Plus, it's always interesting to see what the man on the wall looks like in that quest because it's changed me frequent times. Perfect race. Absolutely can do that. How else do you make and understand niche sports metaphors? Get a master's degree in bowling. There you go. What was I thinking? I don't know. Yeah, we can talk for a little bit there after stream. Absolutely. Um, but with that being said, everybody, I just want to say thank you very much for being here, for joining me on the stream this evening, especially in the impromptu manner that it kind of came about. But I think we had some fun. Look for the Ballas video to come out tomorrow because, like I said, well, it's just not every day that you see an OROKIN PROTOFRAME. And I really feel like I need to add that to my video. So I'm going to do it. But, like I said, thank you all for joining me this evening. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. With that being said, hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week if I don't see you, and I'll talk at you in the next one. Take care, everybody.